that Edward's filling in for Paul. Paul, when you get to watch this, I hope Anthill is awesome. It's always fun to spend time with family, and we're glad you get that chance. We are on episode 5 of Orange Podcast Bad. Man, hopefully we've got some stuff for you guys. It's going to be interesting. Hey, Edward, how you doing?
Hello. Hey. Yeah, that's what's going on there with the Le Pen thing. Extremely interesting. I followed that and followed up a guy I've been following for quite some time on his podcast, and he did a good job of explaining and expressing what was going on there, which I didn't really understand it until he laid it all out. And I'm thinking, wow, awfully similar to what they were trying to do to Trump when they're trying to railroad him and these supposed crimes that he committed, which you know damn well he didn't, but they try to make it look like he did. And the same thing's going on with her, and I was surprised that this globalist community is so hell bent on trying to pin blame on people for things and crimes they didn't even commit. And it just shocks me. If this is their way into power by railroading everybody else, then I think the public needs to know that and pay attention and get on board with the crimes being committed out there on this by these globalists or the global community, which I can't stand, by the way.
So, so it reminded me very much of Trump too, and we just briefly talked about it before the show opened, while we were doing the green room. What does it remind you about the Trump case? And I'm thinking this is directly related to the horseface case, where they're saying Trump made a payment out of account A, he should have made it out of account B. It was totally legal for him to make a payment to horseface, but
Yeah.
he just he checked the wrong box when he made the payment. And then they
Well,
twisted this into some, it should have been just, right, it should have been a misdemeanor. You pay a fine. And they turned it into, I don't even know how they got to 34 counts into a
I
felony of this. They basically just took his ledger and said, well, it was 34 payments to the same horse face.
That was stupid. That was, you know what? I mean, there was clown shows, and then there was that. That's like a
Right.
three-ring circus plus. It just got so ridiculous. And then the media, of course, piled on, and it just made it even worse with the supposition and all the other stuff that they were talking about. Oh my gosh, it just got dumb, and everybody was eating it up. I couldn't believe the amount of people talking about it, and there was nothing real about it. The whole thing was fake and false. Remember talking about that girl that he supposedly offended sexually in a dressing room? I can't remember her name.
E. Jean Carroll. That's the chick
Oh,
I'm talking
that's
about.
her name.
Right?
Yeah,
And it
I
was
thought you were talking about Horseface. Think you're
well,
talking
no,
about
no.
that.
Okay, so
That
Horseface was the payment case. E. Jean Carroll was he was found liable of defamation.
yeah, right. That's that Eugene Carroll uh,
Right,
woman there.
liable of
I don't even know. I
defamation.
want to call her a
He
woman because
he,
she's just
he owes her some money for that, which is
well.
all,
You know what?
horse hockey. The case should
Yeah,
have never made a judge.
and I don't even know if that even because there was an appeal to that too. So I don't even. No one even talked about the rest of that. If it went through, if she lost, she won. Because I haven't heard her getting or collecting any money.
It's
So
still in
maybe she didn't even get it. I don't know.
it's
But
still an
the whole
appeal. She no, well, the judge said she's going to get it, but
yeah, yeah.
Trump's not giving
I
her.
trust judges just as much as I trust lawyers. Well, they were lawyers at one time anyway, so I mean, it's just the whole crew is corrupt. So yeah, I don't trust those as far as I can throw them. So yeah, especially
Yeah, yeah.
today's judges.
Oh, it's awful.
I
So
know.
right, so this Marine Le Pen thing, right? So it's more like the horse face case, right?
I thought
Where
we said Horseface. I thought you talked about the Stormy Daniels. I thought that's what Stormy
Stormy
Daniels.
Daniels is horse face.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Uh, so what happened was that Marine Le Pen received money from the EU to do political activities in the Union, but within her own country, France. And they said, yeah, that's all legal, except that we're saying it's not legal because you spent money from the European Union to do political activity in the European Union inside of France. So you're
Yeah,
guilty. And now, like, okay, they got $100,000 fine and what, 4 years of prison, but two will be home detention after she serves two. Here's the kicker: you can't run for office for 5 years. I don't know enough about France's original constitution or the agreement with the European Union, but that to me seems like way overreach from a
yeah.
judge.
That's what they were saying too in Europe. Now, I was following the story, and apparently that is unconstitutional. And I don't even know if it, because it's not really a crime, and what everybody else is not reporting, if you're not paying out of the EU funds, then how are you paying? What was the other alternative available that she didn't do in 2004 and I think it was 2016 or 2014, the other year, I can't remember. But what other avenue was there available that she could have used that she didn't use? Like they're not even reporting on that. They're just saying, well, what she did. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, it's the European Union. Of course, France is part of the European Union. Of course, she's going to take that money and use that. Now, whether it was a sundry account or who knows how the whole thing, but no one's even being that specific about the whole thing. So yeah, I'm disappointed in the well the global community at large because they did the same thing to Trump, doing the same thing to her. It's not even a crime,
So
and
I've
then they're going.
got, and
Her
I've
biggest
also
crime,
got, well,
her
in the
biggest
crime. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say her biggest crime, according to the judge and the court people, was that she didn't know it was a crime. So she's going to repeat it again because she doesn't know she was guilty. So that's the
Okay.
biggest crime she committed because she didn't know she was guilty, or as if she's just blowing it off type of thing. But that was what they're saying right now is the biggest crime. Why she's being penalized so hard? And then, well, if you didn't do anything wrong, why would you think it doesn't even make any sense. I mean, of course, the innocent person's not going to think they did anything wrong. I mean,
Right.
oh my God.
Right.
It just, I just thought that was the stupidest statement I ever heard. That's a Big Brother that I think it was Viva that was talking about this, saying that that's that Big Brother attitude. That 2 plus 2 is 5, and he even uses that example. And if you say it's 4, then you're wrong. You must know that you're wrong and tell us you're wrong. And oh my God, it's the same thing. I can't believe it's happening.
Well,
So yeah,
that's totally dystopian Big Brother, right? Because
that's yes,
that's going, you're not smart enough to know that you're wrong. So Big
right.
Brother has to just make sure you don't do anything that's wrong.
Uh,
And we're like, Europe's going to turn, Western Europe's going to turn into the Minority Report. There's going to be little
oh,
drones chasing you through the sky. They're going to be listening to everything that comes on your phone. I mean,
oh,
it's
it's
going
happening
that,
now.
and it's
It's
going that
here
way
now.
so fast, so
Yeah.
fast. I
Uh-huh.
mean, not that they
Yeah.
can't do that to you in America, because they can, but
Uh, yeah. I know it happens here, and it's happening here. I mean, they've pretty much throttled and shut down a lot of communications for real news. We don't get
yes,
a lot of it. That's why I follow all the years I've been with you, Mega Mission, for example, because we get more news, or I got more news from Mega Mission that
right,
we didn't get here. I had remember we were talking about what country's going
yeah,
to hit bottom first, us or you. This is before the election happened, because we found out so many interesting things that you guys knew that we didn't, so that's where I got most of the news was from America that we couldn't get here through X. So
right. I
it
mean,
was just
in
beneficial all the way around.
France is not much different. Most of Europe is not much different than the censorship Canada goes through.
Yeah,
Uh, like,
yeah,
and you gotta, whatever. There's ways around it, but it's just a pain in the ass. And so a lot of people don't
I
do
know.
that, and so a lot of people are just uninformed. But I was having a conversation with Ma the other day, and we were I can't even remember what it was we were talking about, but she'd heard something or read an article, and she goes, "Why don't they talk about this on the TV?" And I was like,
Yeah,
and she's a very intelligent woman.
Right.
master's degree. She was an educator for 3 decades. She was just like, I don't get why this isn't like this is a big story. Why isn't it talked about on
I
TV?
know.
Oh no, I know what it was because she was wondering what happened in Canada and how Carney got in, and I explained to
Oh,
I explained to her the basics. Whether you vote for the party was still in power, so the party just replaced Trudeau. And she goes, "That's all they needed to say on the TV, and we all would have just gone, okay, right?
yeah, I know. But even the process they did was kind of scammy. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
still
but
allowed. It's
that's
still they
like
did.
it in a nutshell. That's the basics. You could
Yeah,
go into great detail, but she was pointing out that even Americans don't know that,
yeah. Uh-huh.
right?
Well, because it's a bit different, you
It's not
know.
on their Facebook, and it's not on
Yeah,
the TV, on the box on the wall. I call it,
yeah.
right?
Nope, right. Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit of a different system for sure. But I always get amused by that because I hear so many people saying that, well, why don't this leader from this party? Why don't they go on? Because we had, Trudeau and a couple other libtards on American shows, talk shows. Why don't more of the progressives or the conservatives go on these shows? I'm thinking they won't allow it. You're talking about a libtard show wanting a conservative to go on and support a conservative. It's never going to happen. Why they think that would happen is beyond me, but they're just bewildered why these politicians just don't waltz on to these late night TV shows and get a fair shake. It's you know what I mean? That doesn't even make sense to me about why anybody would wonder why that doesn't happen. They don't realize it's so libtarded up as far as these networks go. You're not going to get a second of airtime, if it's going to be supporting your agenda versus theirs. But yeah, no surprises there.
Right. The whole, but it's when you watch it happen in real time, right? They're like, what you just said to me, son. It's super easy, totally makes sense, and I'm a world traveler. And I've
Right,
been an educator for 30 years, 30 plus years.
right.
I've got a master's degree from such and such college. Like that's all I needed is what you said. Is well, obviously it's a different system, but with these, the party in power is still in power, so they were able to do a switcheroo, just like Joe Biden got swapped out for Kamala Harris,
Yeah,
right?
true.
And it, like whether she agrees with it politically or not, she's like, oh, and I was like, that's why. I actually told her, I was like, that's why people actually listen to the podcast.
Yeah, you actually think, yeah, it's surprising how similar the playbook they're running here is to what they did in America. I mean,
Yes.
Kamala, was voted in. Now, granted, the whole Democratic Party probably wouldn't have picked her, but she still got in, regardless, and the powers that be got her in there. So there she was, and the same thing happens here, and the same nonsense that they ran in the states is coming here too. It's just a lie after lie, and oh my gosh, it's just incredible.
It's awful.
Yeah,
Well, we talked about this last night when we did the Yankee and the Canuck podcast, but like Pierre Polivier, however you pronounce his last name, I French for me,
Polyev. It's just
Polier,
Polyev. No, I don't even
Polier,
know if I got it right, but I think it's Polyev. I don't think there's even an R sound at the end of it.
Polyev.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. So
I think.
Polyev trying to be is whatever. Hopefully we're correct. If not, sorry, Pierre. Like he's famous for eating an apple, but like when you look at what he is advocating against Trump, you go, that's not conservative. This doesn't make any sense. Well, the conservative party themselves, if that's the front runner, they're going to get hosed again,
I
and the
know.
liberal party is going to get voted in mass because I mean, if like the conservative party needs a MAGA esque style candidate.
I know. but
Leader.
not just a candidate, but the policies have to match up with being conservative too. And his really don't. I've always said from day one, if the guy came on stage at any of these rallies and said, "Hey, we're throwing out the WEF and United Nations and any other branch that
Yep.
is in here," he'd get elected the next day. But he's not doing that. And even uh, the China thing we got going on here, there's another story in itself. But you know, we could go on for hours just on that. But there's more important things at play right now. We talked about. Did we even go into the European Union yet, as far as Le Pen goes?
No. So you got what is it? So for sure we got Romania and Germany that have basically done lawfare to remove the Conservative Party in their countries.
Romania, I'd heard
You,
that one. Yep,
so
another one.
Romania, Germany did it.
Germany.
And then here's one nobody's talking about: Zelensky in Ukraine jailed the Conservative Party because they were Russian Orthodox.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He
Uh,
jailed them, and he banned them from, just like with Le Pen. He banned them from being able to run for office. He just banned a whole party of Ukrainian people.
by the way, did you know? Were you aware that he closed down the churches as well? The Orthodox.
Oh
Did you know
yeah,
that?
oh yeah, yeah.
I thought that was strange. Not only jailing your opposition, but closing down. And I'm pretty sure uh, that's probably the biggest religion there is Orthodoxy. So
He was firing. So when the Russian Orthodox in the territories of like Crimea was already seized basically before he was officially installed. But so Donetsk, Donbass, like that whole eastern region of Ukraine,
yeah,
they're Russian Orthodox. Just it is what it is. They didn't mind living as Ukrainians post World War or post Cold War. They didn't mind. They just wanted to be left alone. They wanted to
right.
worship the way they want to worship, and they
Uh-huh.
wanted to live the way they wanted to live. But Zelensky got in there and, being the little dictator king he is, and hey, by the way, you can jump in the comments right now if you're a Ukraine bro. Comments, the comment section's wide open, and tell me how I'm wrong because I get them all the time on social media. He literally, once he started arresting and the people were resisting, he was arresting the priests, right?
Yep.
Once he started arresting and the people were still showing up to worship, because you can worship without the priest,
Yeah, of course.
right? He started putting landmines on the roads and bombing the towns.
No,
So
his own people.
Putin watched this and he warned. Putin warned for over a year, stop bombing ethnic Russians. Stop arresting and jailing them. Stop
You know,
what you're
yeah,
doing. And so everyone goes, well, this is Putin's fault. Is it? Did you
yeah,
not just
I know.
provoke the proverbial s out of him? Because not only has NATO been expanding all the way across,
Yeah.
but then you got this little twerp in there, like just like killing, jailing, and killing ethnic Russians who just wanted to live peacefully in the territory they lived in that was Russian before the wall fell. And they
Even
didn't care. They didn't care that they lived in Ukraine.
now,
No
because you know
problem
what?
with it.
Most a lot of Russians lived there. Just not, you just can't say one
Yes,
Korean. A lot of them were Russians. So I mean, uh, he's blowing up and shooting his own
most.
people, but also Putin's own people too. So I mean, oh my gosh,
So
just the
the
ridiculousness of
whole
it
east
all.
side of Ukraine is ethnic Russian. They like where they live, but
Yep,
they're kind of pro-Russian. All
of
right,
course.
so the whole west side, it's actually Polish people, Polish ethnic Polish.
Yep.
And when this started a couple years ago, Putin gave a speech and he goes, if we decide to conquer Ukraine, we're going to divide it up because there are Ukrainian people. So you're going to have this little sliver that basically goes from Kiev to here, but then we're going to give this side to Poland, one side, and the rest of it's just going to become Russia because that's what it was
Yeah.
up until the State Department, Hillary Clinton, Madeleine Albright out of Europe, installed Zelensky, and they all lived peacefully together. They no problems, but the State Department and Albright had to get involved.
Paul talked a lot about that, as a matter of fact. And you know what? Even what's more, whatever happened to Yugoslavia and what it turned into in that whole area, you got Poland, Hungary, Serbia, now Serbia. It's just not. When I grew up, it was altogether different. You know how we had,
Yeah.
all those small little countries like from Czechoslovakia, Romania, all these countries around in there. The landscape's changed so much. Uh, it's unrecognizable. Well, you still got Poland and Hungary, of course. They're the mainstays, and good for them too. But
Well,
yeah,
because
the rest of it's so unstable.
they threw up a border. They're the only two in that area
I
that
see that.
threw up a border and said
I
no, no,
see
no,
that.
no, 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 right?
Yep, I see that. And
And, and they and they've held right. Whereas,
they would, if you
so
come
but you look
across
at
that fence, they would
in the
shoot you. They would shoot
it,
you.
yes, but in the Baltic states, maybe they didn't have the capability, or maybe they didn't have the wherewithal to withstand that. So they've been invaded. And there's
Oh,
parts of the Baltic that are just as Muslim can be. There's
oh
parts of the
yeah.
Baltic that are Church of England. There's parts of
Uh-huh.
the Baltic that are Church of Russia, Orthodox Russian. So you
Yeah,
have this. What happens, and we've explained this before, when this, like the whole melting pot thing, is meant to you assimilate to whatever country and culture you're moving into. You
yeah,
don't
of
bring your
course.
culture with you and make the country assimilate.
Yeah,
So
I know.
Hungary and Poland said GFY. All the
Uh-huh.
other countries either couldn't handle the mass migration, or like they ignorantly thought it'll be fine. They'll adopt our ways. There's the only reason they came here was because, right, we're the coolest. We're the Baltics. We're the coolest states on the planet, and
Correct.
mistakenly got it taken over.
Yeah.
France is falling. England's fall. Oh my God! Look at what's happening in England.
I couldn't believe the reporter heard of how many mayors are Muslim mayors now. Now, I don't know how factual this person was, but it seemed pretty spot on to me. So, yeah, it's pretty much, I don't know if I could say it's pretty much gone, but I definitely wouldn't want to move there. I wouldn't want to live. Well, I wouldn't want to anyways, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere in Europe. I've never been a European type of person. I've been against the whole thing. I won't even buy European still shining shampoo because it's European. I don't care how I don't care how good on TV they say it is. I'm not doing it. No, I'm
Not
not even
doing it.
buying a European car. If it's not made in North America, I'm not buying it. So
No, no. Well, listen, yeah, there was a thing going around on the internet. So, there was a private space company out of Germany. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. I'll find it or whatever. Throw it in the chat. I'll send it back. They had a rocket launch, first time ever. It was space orbital rocket launch, right?
yeah.
Rocket goes up. Rocket does a 180, falls. First launch. And I go,
What?
well, you know what? That's okay. That's totally okay. That happens. That's normal. I was like, go back to the first 2 years of SpaceX when
Oh
they were learning rocketry. Rocketry's easy, right? But just the internet, the way it is, and people trolling. Like, there was
oh
some
yeah.
really funny ones. Like, I guess Germany and with their engineering, German engineering,
Well,
knows how
it is good.
to make an explosion. German engineering is trying to replicate a belly flop from 2014 SpaceX. I was like, oh, I mean, there was some funny stuff. Look, you gotta laugh. It's comedy in all of this stuff.
Yeah.
There was a so with Le Pen, right? I made some comments. I was just trolling the internet, and I said, "Hey, Le Pen, 2027, Viva France." And people are like, "How? She was guilty of espionage, or she was guilty of this." And we take crime more seriously in Europe, you
Oh,
maggot.
oh God.
It's like,
Oh,
I'm just watching the
someone
comments
actually
come in,
said that?
and I'm
Oh,
laughing my butt off.
oh, yeah. We take crime wars. Are you kidding me? I mean, here they
Right?
are, downtown, London, England. You have some jihadi being performed, or they're taking out the guy's head, and nothing happens to the guy. He's not arrested. No cops around. Nothing. And
Nothing.
you take crime more seriously? Really? That's your stand?
That's
Ah,
that's like when you read the comment section of these things, whether it's something I posted or anybody else, right?
oh,
It's just it blows my mind the comments that it and I look at like a
don't get
lot
me
of
wrong. I
people
love.
a lot of make the people make the mistake of getting enraged.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't. I look at it and I laugh. I'm like, holy crap! Do they actually believe this? I think they might
Well,
actually believe this. I think they believe that Zelensky's the savior of the Western world because I've seen people say it.
they must be trolling though, because that is a sport, by the way, trolling,
Oh
and
God, yeah.
just some people will say some things just to get a reaction. They don't really mean it. It's just it's just trolling. It's just it's shit posting at its finest. That's just what happens when late at night, couldn't sleep, nothing to do, and so they start, they're on the computer, and that's
Hey,
just what
listen,
happens. It just to annoy or whatever. I don't know, but some of the comments are very funny though. I mean, I wouldn't take any of them serious.
listen. I posted one today because it was April 1st here
Right?
in the
Yeah.
West, right? That said we must protect fraud, waste, and abuse so we can save democracy.
So we can what?
Save democracy. You can't
Uh,
save democracy without fraud, waste, and abuse.
yeah,
I posted it with an
democracy.
American flag. Oh yeah.
I'm. That's that word. Going back to the Le Pen thing. Uh, that's exactly what they were saying, trying to save democracy, promote democracy. We're voting and we're doing everything for democracy. There's hearings for democracy. Everything is for democracy. Where have you ever heard democracy being used so many times? How about the libtards in America? Remember during the election and before that, how many times we were going on about protecting our democracy. We have to protect our democracy. I mean, oh my God. Maybe how you define democracy, maybe, but that's not exactly what democracy means. And I'm not a democratic, anyways, because I know it could never work. But nonetheless,
Right.
a republic does, but the democracy where the mob, or the let's see, the majority of the misinformed rule, yeah, that's where I want to be. Nuh-uh. That's why a republic is a lot more correct as far as a party goes, or a lifestyle even than this democratic process, which isn't right at all. I mean, you always hear people say, "Let me guess, you think you're right and the whole world's wrong." I'm thinking, well, actually, that has happened before in history, and yeah, it's happened just recently during COVID. Well, we were right and you were wrong. The whole world was wrong, and not many of us around were actually proven right. You can call us whatever you want, the conspiracy theorists, the tin hat people, whatever. We knew a line of garbage when we heard it, and even though we tried to express that to people, it doesn't make sense. Let's reason this out together, and they still couldn't get it because they love the free money. And that's another reason why Canada, and it's in its position it's in right now, we're not a standalone country. We talk. I told you it's in that space Sunday, the Canada 51st state
Yeah, yeah.
space. And, these people think Canada. Now, positioning wise, I can see why it's appealing. But as far as natural resources and what the states need, they have a lot of oil in the United States. They don't need our oil. I mean, nothing's going to happen in the United States if they don't get our oil or our trees. So they don't really need
Right.
us for natural resources like everybody thinks. Oh, they want us for their oil. No, that's not right, people. I mean, come on. And Trump wanting to even indulge in the idea of taking over a let's say, very socialist country, where everybody pretty much is living off the government. No one stands alone, makes money on their own without the government supporting them somehow, some way. All the occupations, all the sectors are reimbursed by the government. If it's a set up marketing board or whatever, there's very few. Well, the building trades and production workers are about the only ones that aren't living out of the trough of the government. Everybody else and every other business they can think of is pretty much, well, even the government employees. I heard a stat a couple of months ago where 25% of our voting populace had a government job. So already we have to overcome 25% just of that
Right.
to win an election. Never mind the ones that are disabled or have some disability, and
Right.
the numbers of them are growing. So those, on top of that, with some of the other ones, everybody's living off the government. So one's a standalone person just making their own money without being reimbursed by the government somehow, some way. And I was saying, I don't think America wants a welfare state. They won't have it. I mean, they just got out of that, by all the
We we
immigration they were trying to. Huh?
we're there. That we're there. Like the biggest employer we have is the government, and
Really?
that's why everybody's so mad at Elon and then
Because,
Trump is because they're like, no, this isn't the way we were founded. We're gonna send the work back to the private sector. Like, now, why do you have, I don't know, pick a ridiculous number, 50,000 people working at the Department of Education who are not actually out on in the schools teaching? Like,
yeah,
what are we doing here? And we were moving that way quickly too. Like, and that started with Carter, but like ever since like World War II, and American took dominance then. Like this whole Marxist communist thing has slowly crept in, and they were going slowly, slowly,
I know.
slowly
So it's not to
until
be
they sped it up a little bit with Obama because
uh
they could,
a
and
lot.
then all of a sudden they hit a brick wall with Trump,
Yep.
and they go,
Oh, not just a brick
so
wall. Yeah, he was taking them backwards, getting out of it. Yeah, I agree.
right, and then so obviously they had to figure out a way to install Joe Biden, and Joe Biden not he didn't have his faculties, so whoever was the administration was running itself, so their administration just hit the gas. Well, we were going to slow roll this so America didn't notice they turned socialist. Nope. Boom, foot on the pedal. We're going to put it all in. And then obviously the American people didn't like that and said
Yep.
no again. Welcome back, Orange King.
Yeah, and good because now he can undo all those pathetic things that the administration before him, the Biden
He's
ones
a
had.
stop. He's a stop. He's a stop. We need many more years. Whether it's Vance or somebody else, we need we're gonna need a lot of time to unwind this
I know.
and course correct the entire world, because
Think.
if our economy goes bankrupt because of the $37 trillion in debt we have incurred, the entire world defaults. It will
I
be
know that.
the chaos. Like, nobody understands the amount of chaos it will be. And there's so many. There's 8 billion people in the world. How many
Yeah.
people do you think are preppers that could
Only
handle a
only
default of
6 billion.
currency?
Only 6 billion
Maybe,
after COVID.
right?
Kidding.
Right? No, probably, right? No, I get it, but that could handle, like, actually understand how to prepare food without power,
I I
right?
know.
How to clean your water without power. Like,
Ridiculous, but true. Yep. They couldn't even filter out the clean drinking. Yeah, that is correct.
right?
Uh huh.
And so when you talk about if America falls, which is the ultimate victory of two different factions, the Marxist, communist, socialist, or also Islam, the second one,
Yeah.
right? It's the world falls into. The six, it'd be going back to like 600, the year 600 or year 500. Everything collapses without America.
I've been saying that for so long now. A lot of people on these spaces, the ones I was talking to you about, saying, "Well, why would you want to throw your lot in with America? Because what if when Trump goes and you get another dummy Democrat in, and America drags it?" I'm thinking, if America goes, we would have gone before America. It's not like America's going to go and then we're going to be the last country standing, unprotected. Like these people are just so ridiculous in their thoughts. If America goes, the whole world's gone, but they
The
don't
whole
seem to
world goes.
realize that's the last, just freedom's last stand is America. That's it. No one seems to get that, and I'm pretty much tired of even fighting and explaining the whole thing. If you can't figure that out by now, then you're
Well,
too far gone. Basically, I mean,
thank God we have a podcast. We can actually talk about it. So,
well, yeah,
when America's gone and nobody's up here calling me a Putin puppet or,
yeah.
by the way, if you want to call me a Putin puppet, chat's open. We welcome it. We absolutely welcome. But when you look, so but that's when you start talking about the Islamic people, and you see all these idiot weirdos with nose rings and
uh,
purple hair
yeah.
and what like there's I don't even know how you pierce some of these parts of your face. And they're all
I know.
screaming, like, oh, why are you supporting Israel? I thought you were anti war. They don't really understand what the Muslim religion wants to destroy the West. And so Israel is the little Satan. America is the big Satan. And we've heard this from imams. Like,
Yep.
I could probably go find the video clips or audio clips. If we destroy Israel, we're coming after U.S. We're coming after
Oh, yeah.
you.
It doesn't have to be in a particular order. It could be you first and Israel. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're just
But that's their testing
Christianity.
ground. That's
And
their
what's
testing
that?
ground.
Yeah,
That's their
yeah,
testing ground.
correct. Judaism and Christianity are just two hated things by the Muslim community.
And
Islamic.
communists.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah,
And
of
communists.
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
Uh,
my gosh. Yeah.
well, and because of that, right? Because let's talk about the communists real quick. It's because they believe man is superior to God, or they say there is no God,
Yeah.
right? Whereas the American Constitution was founded on Christian writings in the
Ours too.
Bible,
Yeah.
right?
Funny how fast we forget all that and the very foundation of our countries, and yet thinking, no, we've matured. We don't believe that anymore. What do you mean we don't believe that anymore? What changed? Where are we now? You have better science now, and we don't. They'll tell you we do, but we don't. But yeah, so it just got stupid. I agree.
It's
Uh,
it's all there.
yeah, I
It's
know.
all
Just
there.
a little reading,
You know,
but you know what?
prove to me that Jesus didn't exist. Prove it.
That he didn't exist? You mean, are you talking through a Muslim's eyes where he was just a prophet, or do you mean
Or a
through,
Muslim or a Marxist.
or
Yes.
a
And they're going
Marxist?
to say, well, there was a dude named Jesus. He had long hair and he was a prophet.
Yeah,
Prove to me he didn't exist. You can't.
right. Well, but if you could, but then you're throwing away every history book. I mean, they already burned the big library in Alexandria, Egypt. Oh God, how long ago that was? God, centuries and centuries and centuries ago. So we already have less information now because they did that. Now, the rest of the history books, you might as well throw them in the garbage. If you don't want to believe in that, then you have to throw away all the history. You have to give up on everybody that we know of today, from Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and go to Eric the Red, and what was his son's name there? Alexander
Yep.
the Great. Yep. Well, yeah, all our history you pretty much have to throw in the garbage in if you don't want to believe that part of it.
Well,
It's like that cafeteria style Christianity where you're just taking little bits of what you want and leaving all the rest. You can't do that. It's either all or nothing. But yeah, that's the retardation of some people today.
isn't that though? And like you see it through politics and religion, right? But isn't
Yeah,
that the way they've always been taking it? And then there's a cultural revolution when the conservative religious people finally go, all right, you've gone too far. We're going to do a reset. And you see it time after time after time.
that's
I
true.
think I think we're
Ukraine.
close to I think we're close to that. I just don't know how it goes down. But I think you see that with maybe it wasn't necessarily like seeing that it was Christian, but getting Trump in a second time, I believe was the conservative Christians. I
Well,
think you're gonna
finally,
see. I think you're gonna see in Western Europe a revolt against what they did with Le Pen, right?
yeah.
And it's
I
going to
hope you're
become
right.
from the conservative Christians, and
Uh-huh.
it's not going to be the Crusades. They're not going to be out there with wielding
No,
axes,
I get you. No,
right?
true.
But I
But
think that's where the resets happen is the actually because Christians just want to be left alone
I
until
know.
they can't be left alone anymore because
I
you've
know.
infringed upon them. And
Uh-huh.
I think
And
that's what we're looking at that type of time on the planet right now.
yeah, we are, and we're the only group left that are constantly, and I don't even know what word to use, harassed or whatever. But yeah, the only group that, and you know what, you can talk badly about Christians and not go to jail. You can't talk badly about any of the religion and escape jail. You say anything about Islamic person, a Muslim, and right away yeah, he'd be prosecuted for whatever you said, whether it be hate speech, depending on you, or something else, but not for being a Christian. That seems to be left out of the whole thing for some reason. Don't know why, but it is. So yeah, there's
Persecution,
that. Uh-huh.
persecution. It's always happened, right?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: why are Christians persecuted? Because they put a god above man.
Hmm.
The rest of humanity thinks man is the most powerful thing that's ever existed and
Yeah.
will continue to exist, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
so they don't want to that challenge that there's this
no, that is
God.
a great point. That is a great point. You know, because Christianity is the only one that puts the God at the center, where everybody else puts man at the center, and has man trying to do everything. Where Christians, we don't think the same way. So yeah, a great point you make. Why that big difference is, and why we are separate and apart from them, and why we're so hated. I think we talked about this the other night, if I'm not mistaken. Why even Justin Trudeau said back in the last fall that Christians were the like disdain of Canada, uh, uh, hated most and worthless. I forget the exact words he used in his statement, but yeah, that's just how the left thinks about. Because we won't bend the knee to them, and that's just how they think towards us because we're unruly according to us following any one of their dingbat ideas and think we're just going to all run towards the door and yeah, we're following you. No, Christians won't do that. We look at our Father, our God first, and then what the government does afterwards. But we have to follow the Christian rules first, and then it's the man-made ones, and then they can't stand that. They think it should be the other way around, like them first. But no, Christians don't think that way.
Right. Oh, they're never going to understand that. And
No, I know. I know.
like Christians to a fault will absolutely take it over and over and over again and go, okay, well, all right, so yeah, all right, you guys are gay people are marrying gay people. That's whatever. It's not bothering me. Here's the thing: it's not bothering me. Okay,
Yeah.
now this and this is happening. I don't like it, but it's not bothering me. And then you get into okay, well, we're gonna just trans your kids in school. Now it's bothering me.
Oh, yeah.
And then you activate that massive population of the West, right? And like you should have just not gone to some of the whatever and it could be a different issue at a different time, but every time it's always been the Christians have just turned the other cheek until they couldn't anymore, and then
Yeah.
and that's where you get all of a sudden a conservative populism in politics across the
I'm,
globe.
I'm certainly glad that, because the last report I heard was in the elections, 2018, I think was where the report came out. 40 million Christians weren't going to vote and don't vote,
Right.
which I find huge
Normal.
numbers. And wow, that's just because
Normal.
they don't
Because
feel
they
it's
just want to be left alone.
and they
Leave
don't
me
feel it's their
alone.
duty. They think if it's the end of the world's going to come, so what? Let it come. But they don't realize it's your duty and your job to, protect Christians and the Christian way of living, or the government to be today that want a freedom. So you don't think it's
Right.
their job to protect that and to lend their voices to, real living, real rights. And like, let's face it, without Christianity, we wouldn't have any holidays. We wouldn't have the Christmas, or the Easter's, the Thanksgivings. We've talked about that, whatever that was now. Lots of things that Christianity has lent to the world that everybody's ignoring, or purposely ignoring. I'm not sure, but yeah, to stand up and be counted, they don't want to do that, and that's a crime. Hey, however, last election with Trump, when he got back in, a lot more Christians voted. Hey, the Mennonites even came out. The Amish came out, brother. You hear
Right.
me? Even
Right.
they were coming out of the woodwork. I mean, and they never vote. They never get into that.
Nope.
So just to goes to show you how many turned thinking, hey, this is our day. We definitely got to get out and right this wrong from what happened before with the, and I don't even know what you want to describe that Biden administration, how that cheat even happened, or was even allowed to go on for so long. That was a clown show, wasn't it? Oh
Oh.
my gosh, we're going to take him to
Oh.
court. Dismissed. I mean, what do you mean there's no standing here? I mean, yeah, you got caught. Well, the case has no standing. Get lost.
Right.
Yeah,
For
the whole
40,
thing.
what was it? I can't remember. I think it was Georgia, right? Like 40,000
Yeah,
signed affidavits that we witnessed voter
it was bad there.
irregularities was the word. Fraud is the correct term.
Correct.
And the governor is just like, I don't give a shit.
I know. Harry Lake was fighting that same fight in Arizona.
Yeah.
As far as that went too, the same thing. I don't know how.
Look, I love Carrie, but like I think her moving to the Trump administration is the best move for her because she's never gonna win in Arizona. Not because we can't clean up the corruption, but because it's one of those things where, like, she's done it twice, 3 times, or what, twice, 3 times, twice.
Twice I know of. Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that like younger voters are coming in and like you're just gonna go, well, you're a 2 time loser. Why would I? That's the
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
politics work, and that's fine. So I'm glad she's got a spot in the Trump administration working in media.
But that's
We
no excuse for voting in that Katie Hobbs, though. Come on.
I
No
listen. I
excuse for
get
that.
you. I'm just looking at logistically. She's not going to get young voters 18 to 24 if she tries for a third time.
Yeah.
They're going to
Okay.
go. You're a 2 time loser.
No, no. I guess that's true. Yeah.
Not
That's
going to
true.
happen. You just got to
Yeah.
look at the realities and the age
Uh-huh.
groups, right? So
Uh-huh. There must be a reason why I could hear it now without looking at the fact. Yeah. Okay. I could
no,
see
no, no.
that. Yeah.
Was she cheated? Probably. Is Katie Hobbs corrupt and probably paid by the cartel? I'm just gonna go with allegedly,
Uh, yeah.
but
I'm going to,
but
yeah, more than not, I'd say, because of what I've seen and the almost tried to interview and the big brush offs without answering any questions. There were some good questions too. Yeah, I'd say, yeah, yes. Uh, just like in Michigan, Greta, what's it, Greta Whitmer,
oh,
Whitmer,
yeah,
Gretchen
yeah,
Whitmer.
Gretchen.
Uh,
The
Oh,
Grinch.
oh, yeah.
The
Oh my gosh.
Grinch.
There's another one. Oh my gosh. But
Oh,
hey,
she's
hey,
awful.
just so when you're talking about cheating and a lot of misdeeds of what's going on there, oh yeah, they've already pretty much proven that. How it stayed under the rug for this long, I don't know. But let's get it all out. Maybe things will change the moment the primaries start up, and that's coming soon too, isn't it? So got to gear up for that pretty soon.
It's gonna
Candidates,
start. Yeah,
huh?
it's gonna start. Well, yeah, it's gonna start. We'll start working on that. They've got a lot of work they have to do on their own with signing up and doing everything legal with the Federal Election Commission and getting their. They have to raise money, so they're gonna have to get
Uh-huh.
their.
Are you going to get involved in that again?
I think I will. I do. I think I will.
All right.
But
Yeah.
and I hope to.
You guys did a good job last time. I
I
mean,
hope
I
to
don't know
be
what the
helpful.
success rate. What's that?
Oh no no no! Yeah, I like it. I think I'm gonna take a different approach to it this time. But yeah, I think I'll be active, very active. I was talking with one of our friends. He was in the chat group last night. If you remember who I'm
Oh,
talking about, we're not gonna dox
right.
anybody.
Yeah, I got you.
And he doesn't live too awful far from me. And he's like, "Hey, is your GOP office open?" I said, "No." He goes, "Well, the one over here is. Why don't you just come down and hang out?" And I was like, "Well, maybe I'll start doing that too, and just uh,
Yeah.
whatever. Well, we'll keep doing content. We'll talk about whatever's going on when we get back to elections. But we do have a brief moment of opportunity where we can talk about all the other things, whether it's geopol or religion or all the things that matter to conservatives."
Right.
And I'm using that opportunity now
Yeah.
to do that.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah. The reason why I say that is because you mentioned raising money, and that has got to be one of the toughest things. And I don't even know how that's set up now. With remember what was Daniels? What was her name? Ramona Daniels. What was her name? Though the head of the GOP, the
oh,
RNC.
Rona Romney, Rona McDaniel.
Ah, that's right.
She changed her
Yes.
last name, Rona Romney. She was
Right.
married
Yes.
into the Romney family.
Correct. Now that she's out, and I don't even know who's taken over the RNC, but
Laura Trump's already out. Laura Trump, right, came in. She did a good job as vice chair,
uh-huh.
and out. Listen, look. I
I
don't
don't even know
know if
who's in now, but the money.
she's trying to do a rock career in like produce song content. Good
Who?
for her, Laura Trump.
Really? I didn't know that.
There's rumors she's gonna run for governor, but then you have Byron Sanders saying, "Nope, I'm in. Go screw yourself." Like, yeah, so she's married in. She's married to Eric, right? I I don't know where it goes. I don't know where it goes. But I've got to say, like in general, I don't know that she's super popular with the MAGA crowd as far as running for an office.
Right,
Now,
right.
maybe if I believe she's a native North Carolinian that's living in Florida now. Maybe she could. I think she would be very popular if she ran for state Congress or state Senate in North Carolina. I don't think there's a lot of popularity for her to run at the federal level. I just don't.
Right. Uh,
And
well,
that's what I see when I wander the internets.
I was just thinking, and it's too bad she's, I don't know, maybe gone or not from the RNC, but who's looking after that? Because the some of the candidates weren't getting any money, to support their districts, and that made a big difference. Remember, we're talking about that one girl from Chicago, East Chicago, was it now? It was borderline Illinois. I can't remember the district. I think it was
It
District
was
Two.
Illinois. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was
I'm
it?
trying to. I'm
And
trying
she got
to find.
close, but with no money, you're not going anywhere. And
Yes,
I
she
still
did really
feel,
well.
yeah, for the little bit of money she got to run with, but
We
still, it's
Watley. So Michael Watley. I just did the internet thing. Watley is still in charge. He's still the GOP chair or the RNC chair. Sorry.
I don't
She
even know
would.
who that is. Is he new?
No, 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 no. He was appointed chair at the same time. Laura Trump was appointed vice chair.
Oh, oh,
So
okay,
she was in. She did her quick little thing, and then she was out. So Michael Watley is still the chair. And
okay.
like all credit should, a lot of credit should go to him because they raised a ton of money.
Hopefully he's fair. With the candidates running, I mean the new ones. Well, we'll see how that goes.
I I think he'll try. Like the whole point or the way funding goes and to like, that's going to be something that has to change. But we can't do that. And Trump's got so much to do in 4 years. We can't change campaign finance laws that fast.
No,
Which is why I want 12 more years of MAGA. And everyone's going to laugh and say, Trump's, oh, I could possibly run a third term. Listen, calm down. What we do want is a MAGA,
yeah,
America First, basically America First
of, of
candidate
course.
on the Republican ticket
I
that
can see.
we could
Yeah,
run for another 8 years. Give us 12 years to smooth out this transition from progressive socialism that the world has been under attack from
I know.
forever. We fought it back in World War One. We fought it back in World War Two, and we're fighting it back now differently, not with
Yeah,
weapons.
true. And I wish more people understood what was going on regarding that, rather than the educators, well, if you can call them that, in what they tell them what's happened, because it's not true. That's unfortunate. It's too bad. But yeah, uh, let's see how this rolls out, because you need at least 4 more years after this term's done just to level out what the whole nation's gone through with the 4 years of mess that Biden created. It takes a long time to clean out because there's too many corrupt. You go from judges to right on down the line. Uh, CIA, FBI. I don't have to name all the institutions of the three other
Right.
agencies, but they're all uh,
State
well, until
Department. State
they've
Department being
changed.
one of the biggest.
Yeah, yeah, but they've changed some of the heads of those now. Hopefully, um, uh, JFK, what's his name there, does a good job.
Oh,
Uh,
Bobby Jr. Yeah,
Bobby Jr.
RFK Jr. Yep.
Yeah, does a good job of the Food and Drug. Is that the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA? I can't remember now what he's heading up. Can't remember.
Yeah, Health and
Anyways,
Human Services, but it covers a lot of those. Why do we need all those departments? It's a great
well,
fucking question.
I don't. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe he'll reduce all that, or maybe Elon will get in there and say, "Hey, why do we have this guy hiring and this guy firing? Why can't the same guy hire and fire?" I don't know. Maybe he'll do that. But yeah, we'll just see how this whole thing rolls out. But it's only been 2 months. Can you imagine all this he's done so far in just 2 months? It's amazing. Last time he
Right.
was in office, he hardly got off the ground. He didn't even get his own people until halfway through the term. So this has like been breakneck speed, lightning speed. Good for him.
Yeah. So the quickly, you may not have seen this on American media. So who is it? Oh, Cory Booker, Senator Cory Booker.
Oh
He's
yeah,
he's been holding. It's like Forrest Gump, right? I
yeah.
felt
I
like I
see that.
felt I felt like running, so I started running. Cory Booker is up, and he's like, I felt like talking, so I started talking. Here's the funniest thing about his whole pomp and circumstances: he's not actually doing what's called a filibuster, because there's no bill he's trying to stop from coming to the floor, and there's no other legislation or no other, not even he's not
Then
even
why is he
trying to
doing this?
block. He's not even trying to block a Trump nominee. He's just
Then
like,
why? What's the exercise for then?
my guess is because Chuck Schumer, who's the current Senate Minority Leader,
Yeah,
is about 5,300 years old.
yeah.
And so they bring up Cory Booker, who's about 400 years old, because he's still an old dude. and they're trying to say, "Look, we're doing something. We're doing it. We're
Yeah,
doing it. Look at us. We're fighting Trump. We're
yeah.
fighting Trump."
Oh my
And
God.
like,
Isn't he
I
a
haven't
Democrat from
looked, but I
Delaware?
mean, okay, so he's got what? All right, he's got on a, and they're calling it a filibuster. Just that's the term they're using. A filibuster in the Senate actually is a thing they use to block legislation being brought to the floor or nominations from
Uh-huh.
being voted on. There was none of that. So he's literally out there, and I think this is his move to try to become Senate Minority Leader. And you know what? Go for it, Corey. Go for it, because you still lost.
Don't you find him kind of goofy? Just his whole, like,
It's
this is not a Mr. Smith goes to Washington moment. There's nothing to it if he's not, preventing any law from being passed or wanting one or whatever. This is just going to be Looney Tunes. Just doing it just for that. Yeah, yeah.
that's my
Anyways,
guess. Well, the
is
party
he from
is.
Delaware?
Oh, look, I can't
He's from the
remember.
East Coast somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
from
yeah.
one of those
But
states. I don't know.
and I
A
think
New England state seems to me. But
right, but the whole part, like, if it just goes to show you, the entire Democrat Party is just in shambles with no leadership right now, and they're all vying for leadership, right?
I know.
Which is totally fine, but they're doing it. They're doing it publicly for everyone to see. So
Yeah.
they're all just fighting for who's going to be the leader of who's ever going to fight Trump.
But that's a typical Democrat, though. They're all the same way. They're all, for
They,
themselves and
I
so in
listen
love with themselves.
Under Joe
Huh?
Biden, under Trump one, under Joe Biden, under Barack Obama, they were all unified in their messaging. They're not any longer. They're actually fighting themselves, like the Republican Party has been since the beginning of the Republican Party. You're seeing a breakdown, actual breakdown of the unification of the Democrat Party here in the United States. It's just something fun to watch. It's fun.
I don't know. I don't know. The RNC just comes together, they say, at the end of it all. So,
We'll see.
yeah.
All right,
Uh-huh.
man, we hit the bumper. Thanks for the show. It was good. Thanks for filling in for Paul. Paul, we hope you're back soon with
Yes.
us. Paul brings a lot to the table. So,
He needs a break too, though. He's been doing those spaces for the same time, so he needs a bit of a break too. Good for him, getting out,
absolutely,
getting away from it for a little while. You too.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So to all you watching live, I see you. I see the
he
rumble. I see
is.
the locals. I see the
Oh,
stitch.
hello,
Thank you so
Igor.
much. Give Edward a follow. If you don't know him from, we do the Yankee and the Canuck podcast too, where we talk about issues with what's going on with Canada and all of that. Give him a
Yeah,
follow. Edward, did you want to shout out your Twitter handle? People
yeah.
can give
No,
you a
it's just
follow.
it's just my name, and remember it. That's all it is. And I can't remember what my Twitter handle even is. Just that. Uh, Yeah, I can't remember the other stuff they give you, the 416 number, whatever. Well, that's what my area is. That's what they give me for a number. I have no idea. I have to look that up sometime. I'll do that. Do
I'll
you know
just
what
throw
yours
it
is?
out there.
Does
I'll
anybody
just
know?
throw it out there. I mean, listen, you could get tens of followers just by being a podcaster.
Huh?
You'll be big time, just like
Oh,
me.
yeah. What I always wanted.
Right? Oh my god. Uh, let's close this one out. Yeah.
Very good.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll talk tomorrow. Have a good
Yeah.
night, man. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Yeah. You as well. Thanks, John.